Hello everybody, it's Melissa. Wanted to check in today. I know I said I was going to make a video Tuesday after my psychiatry appointment, but guess what? Other things happened. Oy. I had to reschedule for next month. Went to my appointment with 10 minutes to spare, and it's not that far from my house. Tuesday. Had to be there at 1. Got there at 10 till 1. Went to check in, and she said, "Oh, he's not in this office anymore." I'm like, "Okay, where's he at?" Now, I go through Aspire, Indiana. So, there's like 6 different complexes of Aspire behind one of our main hospitals here in my town. And she's like, "Oh, he's in the Bolin building." I'm like, "Oh, well, which one is that?" And she gives me the address, gives me like a postcard, and it has a picture of the building, the front of the building, and the address on it. She's like, "Go down the stop sign, turn right, turn left, and it's in the parking lot." Well, there's 3 of them in this parking lot, okay? And it's huge. Like, there's trees and grass and yards separating all this crap. 10 million one-way streets. I'm like, "Oh, God." I said, "I'm going to be late." She's like, "No, I think you can make it on time." So I jump in the car. And I'm driving around looking for it. I go through each parking lot looking at the car, looking at the front of the building. None of them look like what she was showing me. So I put the address into my GPS and Google. And Google kept taking me around the same block like 5 times. And there was literally nothing. I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Anyway, meanwhile, while I'm driving around looking for this office building, I look over, and this area is not the best area in this town. I look over, and there's like this trashy automotive repair shop with all these trash cars in the parking lot, and it's close to a very busy road that leads to the interstate. And I'm like, I look over and I see this dog, like a stray dog running around, and I thought, that looks like my neighbor's dog. And I'd heard her calling for their dog that morning, early, like yelling. I thought, oh my God. So I went around the block, drove up to where the dog was in this parking lot, and sure enough, it was my neighbor's dog. And so I park my car and I get out, and I'm like, "Come here, boy," because I don't know his name. I'm like, "Come here, boy." Takes off running from me. And he's like heading in the direction of this busy road. And I'm like, oh my God. So I call my neighbor, jump back in my car, call my neighbor. I said, "Dude, your dog is over here." And she's like, "Oh my God, thank you so much." She's like, "I'll be there. Where you at?" I gave her the crossroads. She said, "I'll be there as soon as I can get there." Because this dog made it quite a ways. I mean, I cannot believe that I looked over and saw this dog. So I follow the dog, right? And it runs in between 2 houses. One of them's abandoned. So I pull in the alley behind this house, and it goes around into the backyard of this abandoned house. I'm in this complete mud, dirt alley in like the worst part of town here. And I'm like ready to go to the doctor. And by this point, it's like 10 after 1. So I park my car and get out, and I kind of have him hemmed in because this yard is fenced except for the alley, and I'm parked where he can't get out. So I got out, and I was calling for him. He's just staring at me, and it's a husky, a full-blooded husky, so he's got really bright blue eyes. He's kind of menacing looking. I was like, "Is he gonna bite me?" He's not. He's probably not. Maybe a year old. So I kind of knelt down, and I'm like, "Come on, baby." And he came right up to me and put his head in my lap. And I was like, "Oh, thank God." I grabbed him by his choker collar that he still had on, and I led him to my car and got him in the back seat, which he just jumped in. And oh my God, he got mud just caked in the back seat of my vehicle. And I jump in, turn the heat on, and call my neighbor back. I'm like, I have him in the car. I'll just come home. And she's like, well, we're almost there. So I told her exactly where we were at, the crossroads. I said, I'm in the alley. Coming from where you're coming, you're going to see my vehicle. So I waited there for them. They showed up, got the dog out. I'm like, well, the appointment was missed at this point. I mean, maybe I wasn't supposed to go that day. I don't know. I'm like, so I had to reschedule for next month, which sucks because I really had a lot of stuff I wanted to talk to him about and get his take on some stuff, but apparently it wasn't meant to happen. However, I did save a dog from going to the pound or whatever. Anyhow, what else is new? I still feel pretty good. Meditated this morning. I meditate to Ram Dass. He's got some good meditation videos on YouTube. They're old. They're like from the 70s. But I think they're wonderful. And the one I did this morning was like 29 minutes long. It just really, it just makes you feel so peaceful. So I got finished with that meditation and was feeling really good. And I thought, you know, I'm going to try yoga. I want to check into beginner's yoga, which I've been thinking about and wanting. I keep saying I'm going to start it. I thought, this is the day, right? I had my yoga mat on the floor from the meditation and everything, and I found a beginner's yoga video, right? Dude, there's no way. First of all, you have to do, I don't know what it's called, I can't remember, but where you like are on your knees and you bend all the way down and put your nose touching the mat, and you got to put your arms in front of you. First of all, this is the range of motion of this arm. This is as high as it goes. So I am like, okay, well, this is not working for me. I've had 2 rotator cuff surgeries. This one was my first one, which has pins in it, and it's great. I have full range of motion. This one, which wasn't as bad as this one, got too much scar tissue built up. And he said he could do surgery to remove the scar tissue, but there was a very high percentage of bone breakage. And I said, no, we're good. We'll just leave it the way it is. I mean, it doesn't hurt. I just can't lift it. So that, I'm like, how am I going to do yoga if I can't? God, she had like your arm going under you. It just wasn't happening. So I'm going to have to look up old woman yoga or something. I'm sure they have something like that. For us old folk. But I tried. I gave it a try. What else? I signed up for classes at Ivy Tech. I hear back from an advisor tomorrow. I'm so excited. I want to go back to school so bad. They're going to call me tomorrow morning. And I want to get certified or get a degree in something. Of course, I have to take general studies first because I graduated in 1985. Okay, and a lot of people probably weren't even a glint in your parents' eye in 1985. And I can't even find my transcripts because my high school no longer exists. And the building where I got my transcripts for work years ago no longer exists. So I'm like, I don't even know where to go. I'm sure she'll tell me how to go about all that. But you know, the questionnaire for signing up was like, did you take Core 40? I'm like, no. My son did. We didn't have that. That was not a thing when I went to school. I just got a regular old general diploma, general studies. And to be quite honest with you, in high school, I was more interested in partying than school. I mean, I graduated. I did okay, but not with a high grade point average, I can tell you. So, this will be interesting. And so I got that going on. I'm excited about that. I'm going to try to sign up for financial aid to help with the cost of that. And school starts March 20th, I believe. So hopefully I can get that all taken care of by then. Okay, what else? What else? Oh, I wanted to tell you guys about the dream that I had the other night. Sorry, rearranging. So I believe that loved ones can come through to you, or you can meet up with your loved ones, departed loved ones, when you're asleep. Because I believe that the soul, when you're sleeping, roams around. That it's not bound to the body when we're asleep. Or your consciousness, or whatever you want to call it. And I've always believed that. Because I've always been able to astral project. I don't know if you guys have ever done that, or it used to scare me because I felt like I wasn't going to be able to get back in my body, and I couldn't control it. It would be like it would just happen, and I would start, wake up because I was so scared that I was just going to float away. And I think that's a part of what made me believe, our consciousness can leave our body when we're sleeping. So I've had several loved ones come to me after they've passed in dreams. My fiance, when he died, like a month later, he came and sat on the edge of my bed. Of course, I was asleep. This is what I dreamed, that he sat on the edge of my bed, and he just sat there and looked at me with this warm smile on his face, like I'm okay, just a loving, warm smile. I didn't say anything, but that comforted me a lot. After that happened, I thought, okay, I had a best friend all through grade school, all the way up to high school. We lived in the same neighborhood, and she was also close to my sister. She passed away from a morphine overdose, sucking on morphine patches. It's such a shame because, she was a honor roll student in college, and she just, I don't know what happened. She just went with the drugs, and she got so bad that my sister and I kind of distanced ourselves from her, and I saw her one time in a grocery store parking lot, and she looked like she was 70 years old, and she was probably 4 years younger than me, 3 years younger than me. Her teeth gone. I was like, oh my God. She was a beautiful girl. I was just sad. So my sister and I went to her funeral, and I was friends with her brother. I dated her brother in high school. We all, lived in the same neighborhood. I knew her mom and dad. But she came to me in a dream after she passed, and it was so weird. She was standing, we were standing in a room, like a library room, but it was full of scrolls, like long scrolls rolled up, and they were tied in red ribbon, and there were stacks of them on these shelves. She didn't say anything to me. They never talk, but it's like what they're saying, like telepathy or something. And she looked beautiful, like she did before the drugs. You know, she just looked like her old self. And she handed me a scroll, and I opened it, and I couldn't read it because it was in like a different language kind of writing, like squiggly lines and like Hebrew or some kind of ancient text. And I thought, talked to her. I said, Connie, I can't read this. And she kind of giggled. No sound was ever made, but I could hear her giggle. And she said, "Oh well, it just says it's like my life path, and um, I need you to tell my mom that I'm learning what I need to learn and that I'm okay." And that was it, you know. So I told my sister about it, and she said, "Well, you need to tell Margot." And I said, "She'll think I'm crazy. You know, you don't know how people's family members are going to take that." So I never did tell her. I always regretted that because I went to the psychic. Like a year later, I went for a psychic reading. I had a psychic that I used to go visit. She passed away, but she was really good. First thing she said was, "Who is Connie?" She said, "She is just bombarding me coming through," and I lost it. I mean, there's no way she could have known about Connie. I was like, oh my God. So I told her about the dream, and she said, "You need to tell her mother because that was a message from her, and she wants her mother to get that message." Well, her mother had died shortly after Connie did, so I never got the chance to tell her. In fact, her dad died too. But that was just wild that the psychic instantly said, "Who is Connie?" I was like, oh my God. And that was Connie too, boy. She was a go-getter. So I've had a couple other people that I was close to just come, and they just stand and look at you and smile like, "I'm okay." You get that feeling like they're okay, and it's comforting, right? So I was like, why haven't I heard anything from my friend that passed in December? I'm like, why has he not come to me in a dream? You know, I want to see, I want to make sure he's okay. So night before last, I had a dream that I was in a room and he was there. He didn't say anything, but he looked younger. His hair, the gray was gone. He had his normal blondish brown hair. He looked really healthy. Probably like he looked in his 30s, 40s. And we laid down next to each other on this mat on the floor, and he put his arm around me, and we intertwined hands, and we just laid there and just held hands. Not a word was spoken, but it was so comforting. And then cut to us walking down a black pathway in a dark forest, but there's like warm lit up little cottages throughout this forest where the light was just glowing through the windows. So we're walking through there, and he stops, and a typical pose of his with one hand in his pocket, just standing there in the middle of this pathway. And I started floating away from him, and he just stood there looking at me, watching me float away. And I was getting farther and farther away from him. I woke up crying because I didn't want to leave. And it was just, it shook me up. But it made me feel better too, because I feel like we connected, and it made kind of like, I felt like everything was okay, that we were okay. So believe what you will. I believe what I do. I can't help it. I've always believed this. Made me feel better. Because I've been struggling with that. So, yeah, that happened. I think I told you I go back to the psychiatrist next month. And I'm still feeling pretty good. I'm staying out of my head. I feel optimistic. I feel like good things are going to happen. My son's unemployment got straightened out, so he finally got his money yesterday. And that's a good thing. My grandson's here right now. He's sick today. They had a 2-hour delay because we got some big snow last night. When I was in school, you would have had to have 2 foot of snow on the ground for school to be delayed. Of course, we were allowed to walk to school. You know, I walked 9 blocks to school at one point in my life. I can't even imagine them letting a child walk 9 blocks anywhere. So, by themselves. God forbid. But, so we kind of figured school would either be canceled or delayed this morning. They delayed it for 2 hours, which I'm shocked because there's quite a bit of snow on the ground. But he woke up at 4 in the morning sick anyway, so he's here, and I just made him lunch. And so I'm going to get off of here and go serve him his lunch and serve me my lunch. And my son and I made our plan to start our new YouTube channel. We have some really good ideas. I'm excited. We've got the green screen, we've got the mics, we've got everything we need, the video camera. So it's going to be fun. We're just trying to get all the little details worked out. So that's exciting. I'm excited about that. And it won't be like this channel with it's just a heavy undertone channel. I mean, you know, we're talking about serious stuff here with depression and basically just rolling with what's going on in my little world in my brain, which I'm trying to make it to where nothing is rolling around in there that's bad. So and I'm doing pretty good with that. Like I said, the meditation helps, and hopefully I'll find an old woman yoga class that I can start in on. So anyway, I'll probably make another video next week. And I hope everybody has a wonderful day, and stay out of your head, and try to stay positive. Don't let the negative thoughts get you down, and realize that you're not your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. They don't define you. So that's my inspiration for the day. That's what I'm doing to try to keep myself out of those negative thoughts. So everybody take care, and I will get back with you next week. Talk to you later. Bye.